Well, one day Amenhotep is well, let's jazz up the story a little bit. Let's just say he's going for a walk in the woods, and he's thinking about Egyptian religion, and he's thinking to himself, well, one day I'm going to die because everybody does, and I guess when I die, I'm going to become one of the gods. But Amenhotep says, um, I'm not so sure I like that idea. I find that idea a little bit uncomfortable that when I die, I'm going to become one of the gods because because the gods are so mean to us. I told you that Sumerian polytheism is pretty typical. Typically, in a polytheistic system, the gods are pretty mean. That's just typical. And well, Amenhotep says, one day I'm going to die and become one of the gods, and well, I'm not sure that I really like that idea. Um, because I'm a nice guy. I don't want to go around being mean to people. I'm a good guy. I'm a nice guy. Um, when I become a god, Amenhotep says, when I become a god, I'll use my powers for good. I'll be a good god. I'll be a nice guy kind of god. I'll be like the ice cream god. I'll just float around, and if I see a little kid having a bad day, I'll just, I don't know, clap my hands 5 times, and a big bowl of ice cream appears. When I become a god, I'm going to use my powers for good. And right then, in the story, Amenhotep, well, before we go further in the story, maybe this is a good place for me to make this point to you. The first week of class kind of point. I'm an historian. I deal with stories. Um, all I do is tell you what people said happened to them. If you don't like the story, don't get mad at me. All I'm doing is telling you what other people said happened to them. So if you don't like what other people said happened to them, go get mad at them. Don't get mad at me. Seriously, I have some students get mad at me because they don't like what somebody else said happened to them. All I'm doing is telling you what somebody else said happened to them. All I'm going to do is tell you what Amenhotep says happens to him. If you don't like what he says, don't get mad at me. Get mad at him. Seriously, some people get mad at me. They say, well, you expect us to believe that happened. You don't have to believe anything I tell you all semester. You have to learn it, but you don't have to believe anything I say all semester. I'm just going to tell you what the man said happened to him. Well, in the story, he hears a voice. And he looks around, there's nobody around, and the voice says, I've been waiting for a pharaoh in Egypt to say that when he becomes a god, he'll use his powers for good, because this is someone I know I can trust with an important message. And Amenhotep looks around, there's nobody around. He says, well, what's this message? And the voice says, well, first of all, Amenhotep, I hate to break it to you, but when you die, you're not going to become one of the gods. Now, it's nothing personal. Nothing personal. It's just that, well, the gods aren't real. All those stories about the gods, they're just made up stories. The gods aren't real. The gods don't exist. I'm the only one up here, the voice says, and I run the whole universe. Well, in this, and the next word you use is whatever you make out of the story. In this experience, hallucination, encounter, whatever you make out of the story, I don't tell you what to make out of the story. I just tell you what the story is. In this encounter, Amenhotep has stumbled upon, made up, whatever you make out of the story, okay? But in this experience, Amenhotep has come across a new religious system, a different religious system than polytheism, and that's a religious system called monotheism. Monotheism, a belief in one God.